There we go. You're not muted. Perfect. Yep. And like as promised on Twitter, I'm holding my mic with my hand because, damn it, I cannot justify buying an arm for a mic for 2 streams from Japan. Let me just see that everything is looking Gucci. And I think it is. I'm going to turn on our background music, which I should have done before. Let me know if any volumes are crazy or so on and so forth. This is a very haphazardly but nice looking stream. We have done our best to make it look as good as possible. I'm sitting here in Japan, and with me is Laurent Victorino. And where are you sitting right now?
I'm in France.
In France. Beautiful.
Yes.
So welcome. This is our very first episode of our new streaming series, Meet the Furies. With me, your host, Zeke. Short bit about myself, since it might be your first time seeing me. I've been at Raw Fury for roughly 4 months now, or well, it is my 4th month, so I'm still fairly new. And that is sort of what we have as the concept for this stream. So we got all these lovely developers that we've worked with over the years to bring you some fantastic games, if I dare say so myself. However, I've not been here for most of them. And thus, we thought that what better way to help you get to know them than to use me as your vehicle in, just asking the simple questions. I wasn't here when a lot of these games were released, so hopefully you will learn together with me. And at that, I guess we want to introduce our lovely guest, Laurent Victorino AKA Monkeymoon, who developed Nightcall. Well, one of the people to develop Nightcall with us.
I wasn't alone, but yes, I'm the project leader of Nightcall. That's a black and white game about that taxi driver in Paris that was released last year, if I remember correctly. And yes, I'm very happy to be here with you and to experiment this stream and to be the first. You in this.
I'm sorry I tricked you. We were trying this out earlier, and I'm like, I'm pretty nervous about doing the first episode of the stream. And Laurent went, oh, are we the first? So
yeah, I wasn't planning on that, but okay, let's try it and let's do our best to make something good with it.
Like I said, the lovely thing about being the first is that no one has been better than us. So there's not been a fantastic segment with the Ditto or any of the other lovely devs that we work with that everyone will see as the bar for how these streams should go. So we can just kind of.
Obviously, so far we are the best, and I'm very good with that. So let's keep it that way.
Exactly. I'm very proud to say that this is easily the best Raw Fury Meet the Fury stream so far. I realized one problem already, and I'm gonna try to solve it very quickly. That is that the chat in OBS does not update for me. So I'm gonna try to quickly pop out the chat from my browser. And where is that button? If anyone in chat knows how to pop out the chat, please do let me know.
Maybe I could help them waiting, dancing, just distracting people while you find that button.
Right on. That is beautiful. I'm sad I'm not seeing it myself. Where is the pop out? I mean, worst case, I'll just tab in and out. Like, that's not a problem either. But it would be nice to just have it on screen all the time. And yes, Hookshot, you are indeed meeting the Furies right now. Lovely to see. We have our little gang here. At the bottom of chat, press the cogwheel and it says pop-up. That's what I thought, but I must be blind. Oh, it's Swedish. Maybe that's why I was looking for the word pop-up. Byt till vanlig. Senaste raids, långsamt läge, följer emot raderat. Alright, it's actually not here, unless I'm crazy. Alright. Oh, there we go. I found it. Crisis averted. I was starting to panicking there. But alright.
Everything is going to be fine.
Okay. Alright. Let's start off. You told us your name and the that you were the product manager for Nightcall, but who is
Yep.
Laurent Victorino? What is your background in video games? Have you developed any other games before Nightcall? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm in the industry for like almost 15 years now.
Wow.
I'm so old. I worked for companies like Ubisoft and Tech2, making games like The Crew or Top Spin. So very different from narrative games and way bigger than the game that we're doing now with Monkeymoon. At some point in my career, I wanted to just try to do my silly games and give my silly ideas a chance. And I've quit Ubisoft and started that company called Monkeymoon, which is technically me because I'm alone in it. And
Lovely.
the idea with Monkeymoon is to just work with and gather different people, the time of a game, and make a game together and try something else after that to be sure that to always have the best team possible and best talents possible for a given game, and not having to adapt the concept or the game genre to the team. So far it's working. We had the opportunity to release Nightcall, and it was a very, very good experience because we all learned a lot with it. Even if the game is very underrated, if you ask me. But anyway,
Right on.
And yes, that's what we are doing, and that's who I am. I'm a video game programmer. I've made several games now, and in a way, I'm still doing it. So I think I have a problem because I should have quit a long time ago to make something else, something that makes sense. But apparently, I like that, so I keep doing it.
Shouldn't we all? The gaming industry is a fickle mistress. Somehow she keeps pulling us back in. But yeah, that's so interesting.
Sadly.
I didn't have any idea that you had a background in AAA with Ubisoft and similar. So we're already getting to learn so much more about each other. Well, I get to know more about you. Feel free to ask me questions as well.
Definitely the best stream so far. The best stream about me so far.
Easily. The perfect one. We should just rename it Meet Laurent Victorino or Meet Monkeymoon. I guess someone pointed out in chat that Monkeymoon is a really fun and a nice name. Is there a background to it, or is it just like, it sounds fun and nice?
Yeah, that's basically the idea. It's a name I found during my studies, like more than 15 years ago now, and I found that the name was fun, and I've just started using it. And when I had to start a real company, I had absolutely no idea how to name it, so I already had the domain and all the URL and all the stuff, so I used it and trademark it, and now it's mine.
I mean, that's the best way. It's like, I think a lot of people...
Drunk ideas are not always the best, but sometimes they work.
I really like the name, Monkeymoon. It has a nice ring to it. It's like, you know, in movies, how you always want to name your hero like something... like the first name and last name should preferably start with the same letter. At least I know that's a trick to make someone seem sympathetic. Can't pull up an example in my head now just because obviously I had to go there, but I was like, Luke, Sky, no.
That's okay.
But yeah, it just rolls off the tongue. Monkeymoon. It's very nice. So, I think like we're trying to work out exactly how this stream will work and like the format, but as we're thinking right now, maybe you could, in as many words as you like, and like don't feel like you need to rush it, but in as many words as you like, could you maybe tell us all what Nightcall is, what kind of game it is? Because I reckon there's people here maybe who has maybe even never heard or seen about it.
Well, I could do it in one word, but I will use more than that.
We have an hour to cover, so please.
Yes, let's cover this hour with Nightcall. Nightcall is a narrative game where you play a taxi driver in Paris. It's also an investigation game. The thing is that it's a non-linear narrative game. So you are that taxi driver and you obviously drive people from point A to point B. And the car drives automatically and you just have to talk with them. And at some point you learn about their lives and what they do and what they want and just share with them. And at some point in the game, very early in the game, you discover that there is a serial killer in the city. And the only thing the police knows about that killer is that they usually use taxis to commit murders. And you are confronted by a very dirty cop, and she is trying to frame you if you decide if you don't help her on to investigate on the killer. So you have 7 nights to find the identity of the killer, because the police knows that this killer is one of your customers. And you have to ask questions to people and to listen and to investigate and to go to special places to gather clues and analyze clues. And at the very end of the game, you have to say to the police, I think this is the killer. And maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, and something happens, and this is the end of the game. But basically, it's Nightcall. We have a very large cast, like more than 80 characters. They are all different. They all have unique dialogue. They all talk about themselves and have their own way of thinking. We have 3 different cases, so you can replay the game 3 times with and discover 3 different killers. And also the game happens in the real Paris. So the game happens on the real map of Paris. So you have all the streets and all the GPS view of the city. And yes, that's basically it. The idea is that the game is very, very narrative, because we have more than 290,000 words in that. So it's more than the Lord of the Ring, if you want. It's a lot of words. Really too many words. We won't do that again.
Less descriptions than Lord of the Rings, though, I think.
It was a fun ride, and especially for the translators. But
moment of silence.
It's a crazy game, and the crazy thing behind that is that we found a partner who agreed to allow us making that game and to fund that game. So it's crazy, and I'm talking about Raw Fury,
right
of
on,
course, and not Devolver.
oh. Calling we'll censor that.
Sorry,
in the real.
Not the B word. Okay, not the B word.
That's okay. But that's a really nice segue into what I was gonna ask next. Actually, like, it is such a unique game in how at least I personally have never really played anything like it. And this is like, cards on the table, have not had time to play all of the games in the Raw Fury catalog yet. However, this one I did play, actually. One of the first ones I jumped on after I got hired to Raw Fury. And I honestly fell in love more or less instantly and started tweeting a lot about how much I was enjoying, more or less, like, as you explained, you have this whole, like, overarching narrative with the murder that you're trying to solve. But, like, at least to me, as a, like, not casual, but, just jumping in there player, like, to me, the gold is really in, like, the small stories in the narrative and talking to the different customers. And it's very unique to me, at least, to see a game where, like, the main... maybe I've not completed a murder yet, so maybe it focuses more directly on that as you get deeper into it. But yeah, like, how did this game happen? Like, where did the idea come from? Like, you work together with a couple of other guys and maybe girls. I don't know the entire team, to be honest. But, like, how did the game come about? Like, what was the spark?
Like all the good ideas, it was in the shower. And And I've known Anthony, the writer of Nightcall, for a long time, and I really wanted to find a game that we could make together that would show how talented he is and how good with words he is. And I needed something narrative, even if I'm not a big narrative game player. And I remember the nights I've spent in Paris, because I've done my studies in Paris, and sometimes late at night when I had enough money, I took the luxury to come back home in a taxi, and every time it was a very, very special ride, because you enter that taxi that acts like a tiny bubble in space and time, and you are blocked with a total stranger during something like 10 to 15 minutes, and the only thing you can do is talk with him, and sometimes the driver just say something, and you see yourself sharing things with them, sometimes things that you would probably not share even with your friends. And you do that only because you know that it's a unique encounter. You will never see that driver again. It's not possible. It's unlikely that you meet the same driver twice. And
That's
I
true.
wanted to share that very special experience, because it's very unique, and there is it's like the taxi is acting like a room of confidence, and you can actually share whatever you want, and it's something that you could find in probably bars or special place like that at
Airports,
night.
maybe?
Yeah, airports maybe, and I wanted to do that, so I called Anthony, and Anthony told me, okay, let's do it. It's awesome. And I said, yes, but we don't have any money for that, so I will try to find money. But before finding money, we need to shape the concept and prove that that game could work. So we contacted a company called Black Muffin Studio to do the art, very talented artists. And they loved the concept, so they helped us shaping shaping a prototype, and it is basically what we showed to Raw Fury. And after many discussion, we ended up making Nightcall. So yeah, it was a good thing to do.
I'm incredibly happy that you did, because again, I truly enjoyed this game.
Thank you.
So I guess,
and it's not that important that you play other Raw Fury games, as long as you have played.
as long as I play Nightcall, yeah, that's fair. But okay, then I'm already fine. Then I can feel okay about not having had time to play any games in the past month or two.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, be happy. But yeah, like I want to talk a little bit about working together with us, because like we intend to be fairly, open and transparent, both privately with you, our developers, but also here on this stream. So like, don't feel like you need to hold back. Like, don't have to go in super hard on me either. But like, how was the experience? Maybe let's start with like to pitch the game to Raw Fury. Like, who did you meet with, and like what sort of dialogue did that open?
Now that I see how Raw Fury evolved, it's the story behind Nightcall is crazy, because at some point we were already thinking about Nightcall. We were already working on a prototype, and I was in my kitchen, probably wearing underwears,
Amazing.
baking cookies, and I was listening to a podcast. I think it was about a lawyer talking about video games and stuff.
Right.
And the guest of that show was Jonas, the CEO of Raw Fury.
The one and only.
And Jonas was talking about Raw Fury, what they wanted it to be. He shared his vision for how the publishers should act and how they should behave and how they should support video games. And I've I was I was already in the industry for a long time, so I've written an email to Jonas and told him it's cool, it's very cool what you are trying to do. I don't think you will manage to do that, to be honest, but it's the good way as a developer. It's the good way to do things, and I really hope you will manage to do it the way you describe it, because it would help a lot of developers a lot. And he answered me like 10 minutes after that, telling me, "But you're a developer yourself. Are you working on something?" And I've shared the pitch of Nightcall to him, saying, "Oh yes, but I've worked with big publishers before, and I really hate publishers. So it will be very difficult for me to be convinced." And he answered back like 2 minutes after that, telling, "Oh, you hate publishers? That's good, because we do hate them too. That's why we started one."
He does say that.
Yes,
I can confirm this is true story now.
It blew my mind. And like the next day, he told me Nightcall is something that we really want to have, and we want that game. So just tell me how much and the schedule for that game, and we will start talking about that. So we discussed about it, and in the end, he told me the way we work is that we never sign games without having a prototype. So when can you release a prototype? And we said, we're already working on that. Give us 2 months, and we'll come back with a prototype. 2 months after that, we released a teaser video and also the prototype of the game. So we shared it with Jonas. And 10 hours later, he told me, "Okay, prepare a schedule and a business plan. We have a board meeting tonight, and I will talk about Nightcall, and we'll see what will happen then." And the next day, he told me, "Are you available on Thursday?" And I said, "Yes. Do you want to come to Stockholm?" I said, "Yes." And I was invited in Stockholm to meet them, because I really didn't want to sign anything without meeting the guys at Raw Fury. It was something. I really don't trust publishers, so it was very difficult for me to say, "Okay, let's go there and sign it." And so I met them. I met the team, and back then there were like 7 people in Raw Fury, and we talked all night long. And I was the only one not drinking alcohol, so technically speaking, I could have, negotiate whatever I wanted.
Right on.
It's in a way what I did. But anyway, we talked a lot, and I understood immediately that they understood what Nightcall was going to be, and they asked questions. With their questions, it was clear that they wanted Nightcall, and they understood Nightcall, and it was a very, very important fact for me, because I didn't want to work with any publisher if they just don't like the game or have the same vision that we had.
How will we sell skins for the taxi?
Yes, Jonas proposed that, and I said, "I don't know. I will ask a developer." Anyway, sorry, I did it again. It's my.
This is a friendly podcast. We don't want to make enemies.
sorry. But there is a thing with Devolver too regarding Nightcall, and I'm very proud of it, because they contacted us when we released the teaser video, and we were very, very proud to have been noticed by them, because we really wanted to be in contact with them. But in the end, we signed with Raw Fury, and we don't regret that.
Sitting here feeling mighty proud now, puffing up my feather. It's like, all right, he hates publishers, but he's still here with me now. So
yes,
let's see how this works.
In a way, Raw Fury changed my mind about publishers.
That's very, very interesting, because you said earlier that you, and like I guess we're jumping ahead a little bit, and we'll loop back around. But you said earlier that you told Jonas that you don't think he could do what sort of vision for Raw Fury was. Would you say that we're still living up to the vision today, or has it changed, or what's your view of Raw Fury right now?
It's so big now. It's so big. I met 7 people, and now look at you. You're what, 47 in 3 years.
So.
Now when we signed Nightcall with Raw Fury, nobody knew about Raw Fury back then, and it's crazy to see.
Was this before Kingdom was even released?
It was right after Kingdom, and it was funny because when we started talking with Jonas, I've contacted Thomas from Kingdom because I followed him on Twitter, and he had no idea who I was, and I decided to ask him, okay, these guys are wants to have the game I'm making with the team. I have no idea what to think about their contract, because their contract seems legit but too good to be true. And what do you think? You are the only person I know who worked with them. What do you think about them? And he answered me something like, Kingdom worked very, very well. And I could do Kingdom 2 by myself, but Kingdom 2 is going to be a Raw Fury game. And it convinced me that it was more than just money. Because yes, Thomas, Kingdom worked very well, and he sold a lot of copies. So he is basically rich right now, I think. I hope.
Probably.
And
hopefully.
even with that, he decided to make the sequel with Raw Fury. And it's a good point, because it means that there is something else, and there is something about being human, and not thinking only about money, but thinking also about the developers. And along the way, working with Raw Fury, I've discovered that you did more than what the contract said. So it's been a pleasure to make Nightcall with you, and honestly, I didn't think it was possible. And even today, when I talk about that relationship with my fellow game developer friends, some of them just don't believe what happened to us, and it was more than just a business relationship. It's more about friendship and trust and being human in a industry that sometimes forgets to be human. So no, it was a real pleasure.
That feels so incredibly good to hear from you. Like, that's almost word for word how I think Jonas himself would describe it. Like, one of our core tenets is word by word, like treat humans like humans. And yeah, the
it's
vibe.
Unbelievable. With my background, it's unbelievable, because I've seen all the other publishers, the big ones, I mean, and how they treat people, how they used to treat people, because things are changing right now. But it was unbelievable to find that tiny company in Sweden that is genuinely interested by video games and by video game developers. And the way, I can't reveal too much, because some of things I'm not allowed to reveal, but when I see how they treated some of the other game developers from the Raw Fury games, it's incredible. It's more, it's treating human, being human. It's very, very special, and I'm very proud to have worked with you all, and it was a good experience.
That is so fantastic to hear. And yeah, that sort of touches upon, I mean, short anecdote.
And also, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm not currently paid to say that.
Not yet.
It's important to tell them.
We'll treat you right.
I'm not paid. At least not yet, but I think you will receive my invoice in a couple of hours.
Let's just in code say you've secured the bag. Good on you, Laurent. Go get a vacation or something. No, but like that sort of that sort of touches upon my internal fight at Raw Fury recently, namely to name this stream, because we were from the beginning. Now this stream will involve both people from internal Raw Fury, like the company Raw Fury, but the original concept was just this, me as well as people from the development studios that we work with. And like, I really like the name Meet the Furies. It has a nice ring to it. But then, rightfully, people internally were like, is it accurate though? Would it be more accurate to call it like Meet the Furious Devs, maybe? Because, you know, they're not Raw Fury employees. And I'm like, no, but, you know, they're not. But we have, and this is, I guess, sort of internal information, but we have a Slack group where every single person who's ever worked with Raw Fury, be it in the past, be it, you know, on past projects, working on new ones, but also people who worked with us in the past and has absolutely no business with us now whatsoever. So, at least to me emotionally, why I didn't feel weird choosing this name is because there is this sort of camaraderie, sort of like a club or a family in this whole thing. So, like, to me, and we did the vote also, because I didn't want to like speak for you in that regard, but to me it didn't feel weird at all to extend the term Furies as anyone affiliated with Raw Fury in any way. And I was happy to see most people agree with me. I don't remember if you did or not, but
nah, I'm too busy to answer you these days.
To vote in my Slack polls.
No, but it's incredible. It's incredible to come there and to meet people like Ditto, for example, and tell him, okay, Gunner looks awesome. I really want to play it, and to meet Thomas and say, okay, Kingdom is brilliant. You did an awesome job on that, and see all the new game developers coming and showing their game and all the good things that is going to happen, because now we are with the team, we are part of the old ones, because we've signed like many years ago with you, but all the good new games that are going to be announced and the one that have already been announced, it's awesome. And it's amazing to just meet them and talk with them and to share something together.
Right. I always get so excited because, again, this is secret stuff, and I hope we're not going to have any leaks on this stream, but obviously anytime we sign a new game, and let me just say, you got some good shit coming in the coming years, everyone. You'll learn more as we go along, but like every time we sign a new game, obviously those devs are introduced to our internal communications channels like Slack, so essentially we announce it to every dev we've ever worked with, like, we just signed this project, here are the devs. And then there's this lovely little sort of indie developer fest happening where everyone just kind of gets excited, like, oh my god, I saw this game like just now and I'm so excited, I can't believe you're working with Raw Fury too. And just this lovely little channel where everyone can hang out.
Yeah, it's as you said, it's like a small family, and it's good. It feels good. Yep.
It's so nice. Like, pulling it back a little bit to where we were before, because we talked about the signing and whatnot, and you did touch upon that we did a lot more, but can you speak a little bit about your experience, like, during the development? Like, were there any challenges, or did everything just smooth sailing all the way through? Like, how was the process of working? Not necessarily, you don't have to speak only about working with Raw Fury, but like developing the game essentially.
Yeah, developing a game is like, developing a game. So it's chaos every day, and it's a very, very long ride to the end. It was very difficult, and we had a very good partner, and it helped a lot. But making a game is difficult, and especially when you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. And it was the case on Nightcall, because we wanted to make that game. We wanted to talk to share stories, but we didn't know if it would work, or if it would be enough for players to enjoy it. So we tried many things, and at some point we probably lost ourselves a little bit, and then depression, and then we made the game and released it, and it was fun. But yeah, the journey was very long and sometimes painful. But I'm very proud of what we achieved, even if it's not perfect and far from what we had in mind at some point. But it's the game. What I enjoy with Nightcall is that the game looks like what we wanted to do at first. It's what we put on paper and what we sold to Raw Fury. It's what we delivered. Unfortunately, we made some mistakes, and some things should have been done differently.
Anything you want to get into, or just in general?
We mastered the narrative. There is no discussion about that, and I'm very proud of it. So I tell it aloud. But at some point we wanted to have more, gameplay and reasons to play and things like that. So we did the investigation, and I feel like we did not master it as we should have. And so the cases are very similar, and the replayability is not really there. But the stories are great. The graphics are great, and the music is awesome. And
music is fantastic.
The music is more than perfect. But
a quick little shout out. We're playing it in the background right now. I hope it can be heard, because it's sort of hard to know the audio levels when you're live. But you can actually listen to the full Nightcall soundtrack on Spotify if you search for Corentin Brassard. Because you could not find it by searching for Nightcall, because I tried.
Yeah, because of Kavinsky.
Exactly.
But,
bastard.
Yeah, choose your game name wisely. But I feel like I could sound like that prick who really loves its own game, and trust me, it's not the case. I don't like that game, but because it's painful and it's full of difficult stories. But there are some things that I'm very, very proud of, and the music is one of them. The narrative is one of them. The fact that I've written that game in French, so almost 300,000 words in French, and translated them in English, and nobody noticed that it was not written in English in the first place.
Never noticed.
It's a huge success, and I'm very, very proud of that. So yeah, it was difficult. It was long, too long, way longer than expected, because we planned originally for 1 year and a half of development, and we ended up with almost 3 years.
Oh wow!
But we are French, so it's normal for us to be late.
Here, you heard it here first, folks. Get your fresh stereotypes from Meet the Furies.
But there are things we did good, and we learned a lot with Nightcall, and we received an awesome support from the players and the community, and it's good. In the end, it's a good story. I'm very happy and proud to have worked on that game, and to have worked with that team on that game, and yes, it was a good story.
I think you should be incredibly proud, because I think it's truly unique. Like, you say you think the investigation parts might be lacking to a degree or could be done better, but honestly, like, in the grand scheme of at least my experience with the game, which is at least a couple of hours, I would say, like, the quality of the narrative and the vibe is so thick you can cut it with a Japanese cooking knife. Like, it really weighs up. Like, I haven't even really reflected over, I've enjoyed the investigations, I read all the documents and whatnot, but I really can't wait to get back and get like that one new customer in the taxi and see what the next the next little encounter will be, because it's just so incredibly good. And I mean, it's easy for me to say with a biased view here as part of Raw Fury, but I truly, truly believe that as a person and as a player. It was a very special experience for me dipping into this game. And I didn't really know what to expect, honestly, when going in. I more or less, like, I sort of put all my Raw Fury games in like a folder on Steam, and then I went, which should I play today? And I very randomly selected Nightcall, and then I got stuck for at least 4 hours, I think.
Cool. That's cool.
Right.
Because I was stuck for 3 years, so I think 4 hours is cool.
Fair enough. You're like 4 hours. Sounds neat. I'm sure you enjoy all the dialogues and the entire game. You know.
What I like with that game is that whoever plays can find a character that talks to him. There is one customer that will be unique to you, and it's like, you know, a Pokemon game. You will try to catch them all just to find your best friend.
Right on.
And I feel like some of the characters are like that, and I really, really enjoy that. And again, Anthony did an amazing job on that, and I'm very glad he could manage to deliver all these characters and all these special stories.
That is so. I would have loved to ask him about it. The original idea, cards on the table for anyone watching, was that Anthony was going to be here with us as well. However, he double booked, so it just
because he's French, you can't count on him.
Horrible.
Yeah, horrible people.
We decided that no matter how the stream goes, we're gonna blame Anthony, and I don't know why, but we're gonna blame Liam too. So whether you enjoyed yourself or not, it's Anthony's fault, definitely.
Yeah, Liam worked on Nightcall. He was the producer on Nightcall on the Raw Fury side, and if something is late, it's obviously the producer to blame. So.
Naturally, specifically Liam, I feel.
Yes.
Even if he's not the producer of your game at the moment, if you're currently working at Raw Fury, if Liam is not your producer.
I don't know if I'm making games. I'm not sure what I'm doing of my days these days. So.
Who knows anymore? This is Liam.
Sorry.
The chat is running hot with people blaming Liam.
Sorry, Liam. I don't know if you're watching, but I'm sorry.
It's beautiful. But yeah, like speaking of the character, do you have a specific character that you feel you connect with?
I'm sorry, Liam is calling me right now.
He's calling me. I have to take it.
Sorry, Liam.
Oh yeah, don't forget to blame Anthony also. This is a joint sabotage. There we go. But yeah, sorry to pull back, but yeah, like I'm afraid that I don't have a favorite yet. But you, having spent 3 years as opposed to 4 hours with the game, do you have a special encounter in the game that still, you know, gives you that best feeling that the game can deliver?
There are actually many, but and it changes. It depends on the season. But these days, I like to think about one called Shore. She's a genius mathematician, and she has autism. And she shares with you that people think she is strange because she can hear things and see things where no other people can see. And she asks you to change the radio channel and to put it between two actual channels, so you just have noises, and she can hear things in the noise, and it calms her and helps her a lot. And later in the game, you discover that she won the field medal, like the Nobel Prize of Mathematics. and it's a touching story. It's one that I like a lot. And there are also that lady, that bearded lady. She comes back from a trip, and she has a big and magnificent beard,
Beautiful.
and she just says, "Okay, fuck it. I just want to wear it and be proud of who I am." And we have that kind of passengers, and obviously there is Crookie, the cat, because we also have a cat. Yes, that
course.
game is of course, obviously we have a cat, and yes, that game is very special, and you can always find a special character for you.
I thought you were gonna make me proud as a young boy marketer and be like, "Hey, you can always find the game in your local internet video game store, such as Steam."
I'm not too good at that. Sorry.
That's okay. You can leave the marketing to this guy. But yeah, I'm running slowly out of questions because you've covered a lot of things I was going to ask about by talking naturally. No, that's totally okay. But, I'm quite happy.
Okay, let's talk about the other Raw Fury game you haven't played.
Okay, this is stressful.
No, sorry.
We can talk about atomic crops. I'm really good at that. No, but I guess we talked about. Okay, I made up a new question also, but before we get to the new made-up question, you mentioned that I guess given time and resources, and at some point you just gotta get the game out the door. If you could change one thing about Nightcall, what would you have changed? And it doesn't have to be, I wanted to do this better. Like if it's something you've thought up recently that like I'd add this or so, if you have anything.
There is something we wanted to do at first, and it's something we didn't do and couldn't do, and it was difficult because we didn't have time for that. But the idea of Nightcall, the original idea of Nightcall would have been to talk about the game and share the game with the players during the production without even showing the game. We wanted to make a kind of a prologue, if you want, and release several of tiny demos of Nightcall without being in Nightcall. The original idea would have been to have actions that happened after Nightcall, actually. So you would have played that journalist in Paris, investigating to find the identity of that mysterious taxi driver who helped framing the serial killer. And all the events would have been after Nightcall, so you would have to interview some of the actual customers that you would meet in the game, and then players would have been allowed to envision the universe, to envision the art and the art style and the sound design and the narrative part without playing the game. And it's something we really wanted to do. We actually made the first sequel, but never released it because we couldn't find the time to deliver the two others, because we planned on delivering 3 of them. And it's something that I really wanted to do, and I'm kind of sad to not have the opportunity to do it. But also, if I had to change something, I think I would remove the investigation part and just go with the narration and let people just play in Paris and talk to people.
Right on. That is such a good answer. I've never heard about someone trying to market a game in sort of a meta way like that. So when you say those...
It's coming because Steam has done something like that with demo and prologue, and some of the Raw Fury games are doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the right way. But
Backbone,
the idea
shout
would
out
to do something after Nightcall and not before, and that would have been the trick.
Yeah, that sounds super interesting. Like, but you say that when you say it would have been like outside of Nightcall, you mean outside of the like ongoing narrative. It would still be in the Nightcall engine, I guess. Or
yes, everything would look it would look like Nightcall. It would taste like Nightcall, but it would not happen in a taxi. The first episode was in a pub, if you will, in a restaurant, and you're just talking with someone and asking question because you know that person was in contact with the taxi driver, and you want to discover who that taxi driver is. And with the discussion, you learn more about the game universe and the game story. And at the very end, you had to choose between two other characters, and it would have worked as a vote. And the character with more votes would have been the one you meet in the next episode.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we have crazy ideas.
That is so cool. You'll have to show me that, because being on the privileged inside, I suppose if you actually made it, you could toss it my way. Screw you, everyone viewing. This is just for me now.
No. I'm thinking about releasing a video of the whole playthrough of the.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. And also, if we ever get you, maybe even Anthony, who knows, back on this stream again, maybe we could actually, like when we're in the studio and I have more than one hand, maybe we could actually play through it or a similar, if we feel like it. Who knows? But the last question, I guess, that I made up on the spot, which will then take you a little by surprise, maybe, since I didn't send that to you. But if you today could get the approval and the manpower you needed to develop any game that your heart desires, what game or what kind of game would it be?
It would be a tactical game in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer universe.
Tactical how?
Tactical, like I can share the game design document.
All right, so this is an existing document. Jonas, are you watching? Get cartons on the line.
Also, there are tons of game ideas we have, and especially with Anthony, because that guy is way too creative. And we have tons of game ideas that we would like to make at some point. But it's difficult for me to project myself in a future with a big company with, I don't know, dozens of employees and stuff like that, because it's not something I want to do. I'm not sure I would be a good leader. It's not what I like to do, and I'm not sure I would do it the right way. So I prefer sticking to smaller games, even if Nightcall is already a big game regarding the size of the team, because the core team was like 5 people.
Right on.
It's Nightcall has already been huge enough for us, so I know my limits now. But if someone wants to buy me game IDs, I have plenty of them.
Everyone dreams of being the ID maker, don't we?
Yes, it's so easy that anyone can have an ID. IDs are cheap, actually, and it's the execution that matters. So, well,
right on.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Do you have? We're gonna wrap up a little more lengthily, but do you have any final words you wanna share on, your experience making, releasing, coming up with Nightcall before we leave our lovely viewers to themselves and their evening?
I'd say video game development is hell. Please don't do it. Take care of yourself. Drink water. Protect yourself. Wear masks. And that would be it.
Right on. I was in the middle of a sip of water because you inspired me.
That's what I do.
I've been open with it on Twitter today. I get a little nervous when I stream, so I tend to drink a lot of sparkling water to sort of do something with my hands when I don't know what to do with my body. But I feel like we've had a lovely time here. The very first Meet the Furies in the bag.
With the best so far. The best.
The absolute best episode. I think we're going to do a poll this week about which the best episode of Meet the Furies has been so far. And I feel pretty good about this one.
Yeah.
So how
We'll see.
how
I'm
do
a bit nervous, but
we'll put it like this: who's been your favorite guest on the show so far? Laurent, Anthony, or Liam?
exactly. Please, it will be Anthony.
Please.
Even without being here, it will be Anthony. I know that.
He's so charming. I love him, even though he
Yes,
didn't
he
show
is.
up. Like
He is.
I vote for Anthony in the poll too, without telling you.
I would do it. I would vote for him.
That's so good. How do you feel? Did you enjoy this? Like, this is a new format for us, but like it became adamantly. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it's become so clear to me. Like anytime I either have a meeting with the devs we work with, or like during FuryCon now, the last week we had some of our devs show up for like a sort of, what to call it, workshop type situation where we discussed a little bit like what we can do better, what's worked well, etc. And there's so many good stories, so much good feedback and impressions. Obviously, every game team and every game developing experience is unique and different, but there's it feels like a bottomless, well, maybe not bottomless, but it feels like a almost bottomless well of talent, charisma, and love that we can delve into bi-weekly on Meet the Furies with me, your host, Zeke Lugmeyer.
And I really can't wait to see the next stream, because I'm sure the other game developers have very good things to share, and I can't wait to hear them.
Can't wait to be part of them. And I'm so grateful for you coming on and being my first guest. This was such a lovely conversation. I think we got you both been called handsome and of a lovely voice in chat, and I think both are true. It's been very calming hearing your voice in my ears. It's been
also I don't want to spoil the next stream and the next guests, but all I can say is that Anthony won't be there.
Probably not. Now it would be really funny if we could get Anthony there. Like he bails on his own stream, but he's very flexible when it comes to barging in on someone else. Yeah, I suppose at that, everyone watching this, if you haven't already, you definitely, and take this biased opinion as you may. My hand was covered by my logo. Play Nightcall. It's available on PC, Xbox, PlayStation. I think now I'm getting no please. Damn it! I already messed up.
It was the best. It was the best stream so far, and you ruined it.
Did we mess up the platforms? Which one is it not available on?
Yeah, it's on PC, it's on Mac, it's on Xbox, it's on Switch. And
there we go. Okay.
And I'm sorry,
sorry, PlayStation players. I fucked up the stream. We'll review, and maybe you'll have another cool gamer boy doing this interview next time, as I will be bowing my head and asking forgiveness of PlayStation players worldwide.
Yeah, but you can still blame Liam, so it's okay.
That's true, actually. Liam, Anthony, I can't believe you did this to me. Can't believe you... Yeah. I'm glad that the music is very somber and sad right now. And I suppose at that, we will part ways for now. Thank you so much, Laurent, for joining us today. Can't wait to see what you bring in terms of video games or similar emotional experiences for us in the future.
Don't be too excited.
Okay, I won't. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks, but tune in 1 week, as my colleague Andrea will do another sort of version of Meet the Furies. So how this will work is every other week I will be here with one of our developers, and then every other week Andrea will do an internal stream with someone who works in the internal Raw Fury office, and that will be more, I guess, focused on what that person does as opposed to focused on a game. We'll tweet more about it. Maybe, do you want to plug your Twitter or something before we go?
Nope. Yes, it's on code. It's on_CODE.
Right on.